Hey, how you going? Welcome to Start Building Me. This is my proof of concept on the internet that consistency is way more important than intensity. You brush your teeth every day, you go to sleep every day, you eat and drink water every day, or you eat and drink water in addition every day. But people think that you don't need to exercise every day. Surgeons and various governing bodies, I know you've got to be careful who says what these days, but nonetheless, a lot of smart people have said that 35 minutes a day is required for correct brain functioning alone, folks. Not good looks, not so you fit into your jeans or so you look massive at the gym, just for your brain to work properly, right? So every day for the last 2 years, during the pandemic, I was training with friends and some Twitch kids online. Twitch is a platform where kids watch other kids play video games. Seems curious to me. I enjoyed playing them as a kid, not watching other people play them. In fact, we used to fight over the remote controls to be able to play them, but nonetheless. I thought to give a different angle that I would be able to provide kids with an experience to show them that like an MMORPG or like a video game where you're building up your character, you can actually build up your own character, i.e. yourself, and that translates over to other skills. Not only sport and athleticism, but consistency and forming habits help you with your schoolwork, help you with science. Me as a scientist, other people's doctors, engineers, everybody benefits from exercise. So I am just in my first session in this studio now, trying to see if my mic is working and if it's not clipping. I've had some problems with my setup. Technology does that. So other than that, it looks all right. It looks fairly good. I've been able to figure out getting a lot of the screen bleeding as well, which is good. Now I had some requests for midday training, so I probably might start with that because he is a good friend and a solid athlete who would benefit from this. Which is my point, that it's not just Start Building Me, it's not just beginners. Everyone, including professional athletes, would be like, yeah, I can see what he's doing and this would be useful for me as well. Because basically we're doing squats and we'll be doing push-ups or push-ups from your knees if you can't do strict push-up yet, and just some joint mobility exercises to help you when you're sitting at your desk or at school or whatever it is you're doing. So I've tried to make it all inclusive, which means that I've trained with people that have disabilities, physical and mental disabilities, as well as injuries from sports, people who've never trained before, athletes, whoever it is, they always benefit from it. But that is only if I Start Building Me working, which is what I'm practicing here at the moment. So it looks all right. I've got new lights which look pretty bright, maybe a bit too bright. I'm not sure how the mic is going. It looks like it could be clipping and sounding a bit muffled. See, I've got a bit of screen bleed in there, but I'll live with that and I'll figure it out. Not so sure about the floor either. It looks a bit daggy, the old carpet. I used to have a black rubber mat down on the ground in the garage. On the plus side here now is I've got air conditioning because I moved the studio inside, so I'm not going to be sweating like a dog in heat. But nonetheless, I would like to tinker with a few more things. I think it's going to be largely better because it's connected via a hard cable up to my insane router, which means there won't be any latency or lag. I think I'll be able to move my tripod away now because I've got my camera mounted on a crossbeam. And I can see what I look like because I've got a bathroom mirror looking straight back at me, so that's kind of a bonus as well. Anyway, so I'm a little bit late for a 12 o'clock session, but as I said, this is just to test my setup. I might have another crack at about 7 o'clock Queensland time, which is 8 p.m. New South Wales time, for my engineer and scientist broken friends who need to be training more as they're hitting middle age. But as I said, this is all inclusive. Anybody can do it. Anybody can benefit from it. I'll take the Pepsi challenge on that any day of the week. To a professional athlete, if they're thinking, oh, I can't benefit from doing some body weight squats or some push-ups, maybe they're a figure skater. I don't know. But other than that, I can't think of anybody who wouldn't be able to do it just to get the blood pumping, getting the blood pumping, which reduces your resting heart rate over time, reduces your blood pressure. That's pretty much my focus, folks. All I'm trying to do is get people to improve their vitals, which is basically your resting heart rate and your blood pressure. So before you start going in and wanting to get massive at the gym or wanting to become a 100 meters sprinter or something like that, what you should be focusing on is heart health, because your heart is a pump that has the same amount of beats per minute over the same time frame of a life of anybody else, for instance. So you really want to look after it. Our liver regenerates. There's even scientific journals now that are showing that there is potential for our brain cells to regenerate. But the heart is one of those organs that is as on a zero-sum game effectively. It's literally counting down the time until it pumps no more. So whilst we're alive and well, we want to be looking after our health, and that includes diet, which we'll bring up on different tips that I have here online, because I'm extremely cardiovascular centric with my exercise. I didn't used to be. I used to train for performance, and now as I have hit 50, Freudian slip, feel 50, but 40 this month actually, I've trained my body now, or starting to train my body over to longevity. So it's a slightly different approach than performance, but nonetheless, I will have performance tips as well. This will be start building for bodybuilding, start building for sport, which means do the sport. Don't train, actually do the sport. That's how you get good at a sport. Who knew? Anyway, diet, starting to get focused on diet, started to get focused on running, started to get focused on walking, how to sit up, how to sit down, how to lie down, how to stand up properly. Really trivial things that I was taught over my life, where people, strength coaches, boxing coaches, whoever would say, okay, this is what is required to sit up properly, and you're just like, what? Or how does anyone know how to sit down? And you're just like, what a kook, like who asks these questions? And then you'll find that most people don't know. And there are ways how you can sit down, stand up, all properly ways to preserve your spine, preserve yourself basically, which is what I find most important. But as I said, the most important thing is to form that habit. Forming a habit is the basis of what I'm trying to establish here, which means that by doing something consistently, doing it on here, you can do it in your room, you can do it behind closed doors, away on your phone, it doesn't matter. That's why I thought of this system, is because it's daunting. It doesn't matter who you are and which gyms, they vary. Some gyms are daunting. There's very cliquey and snobby and people over there, you know, judging people, and that's not what this is about. This is just about trying to get people consistently into forming a good habit, and the more they're going to be here, the more they're going to absorb my rhetoric about exercise and diet as well, which is, you know, a benefit as well. I think you'll find that when you start realizing that this positive habit is also making you feel better, then you'll be like, maybe I should take his word and go try and shift around some things in my diet as well, right? And so when you start playing with your diet a little bit, you'll start to realize, hey, that's making me feel even better again, and hopefully this stuff will snowball until you're like me and you're just thinking about this stuff 24/7. Maybe that's not particularly helpful. The truth is always in between, right? I'm quite robotic with a lot of things in life, which is both a blessing and a curse. I think it's a blessing to be able to explain to people all about health and diet, but it's also a curse in which I'm sitting there at a restaurant wondering exactly how healthy or what's in something or how much salt's in there. If that water's actually filtered, maybe there's a little bit too much heavy metals or fluoride in this water. It can get a little bit crazy, folks. So that's why I'm here. I am a little bit crazy, but I also want to explain to people how to stay healthy, because I used to always take it for granted. I used to always think everyone knows this, everyone just doesn't care and they're lazy. And then I realized after speaking to a lot of people and having a lot of success training people is that people literally don't know a lot of this stuff. It isn't that straightforward. There's so much misinformation on the internet that you always assume that it's like everybody reads this stuff like me, interrogates the data, interrogates the information to know what's right or wrong. That's definitely not the case. There is so much garbage on the internet, deliberately misleading, false information, trying to get people to buy certain products, resistance tools, subscribe to systems, which is why I'm doing this, because I thought, hey, this is free. This should all be free. This is just time in my day where I can listen to the sound of my voice, which everybody loves. Let's face it, everyone, all my friends and family watching this, you never get sick of my voice, right? Exactly. So that's why you can tune in, listen to the information, or actually train with me. So I'm not actually going to do a training session now because I'm not going to waste a whole bunch of time and realize that the microphone is dead, even though it seems to be, I seem to be seeing the level. I'd also like to see if the expander and the limiter's in the right setting. It just seems like it's a little bit peaky and I'm not sure why. The air conditioner's already running as well, and I want to make sure if I can use the expander to get rid of that noise, which would be certainly ideal. I've also got a camera down there for doing push-ups to show you how I can do different variations of push-ups. But it's like boxing, folks. Why throw, a 5-punch combo if you can't throw one punch correctly? It's the same with a squat and it's the same with a push-up. You want to just do the one exercise really well. And so from there, chuck 60 kilos in your back and do one-arm push-ups. It doesn't matter, or diamond push-ups, or whatever the other things are that people do in the gym. But really, what you're trying to do is do one exercise properly. And so with a push-up, it's like a plank with movement, basically. So instead of just pushing arbitrarily with your arms, you want to make sure that you've got a plank and you're moving that plank up and down. With the squat, basically, I'm not a form stickler. I know some people who will be watching here who are form sticklers. Feel free to chime in. But basically, everyone will have different stances, different techniques for squats due to our biomechanic setup, how tall you are, short you are, how wide apart you stand, and all kinds of variables in there. So that's the whole point, is doing these exercises and getting feedback from people, seeing what they like and don't like, what helps for them. And before you become a form stickler, you just want to see what works for you. The whole point is to get your heart rate up, get your blood pumping. Whichever way that you can manage that with a squat or a push-up is what we're after, not the most perfect military form. That's going to come in time. That would be keep building me or advanced building me or whatever it would be. That's some great ideas that I've just thought of now. But for start building me, all you're trying to do is execute the exercise in any shape or form. So I'll look for my box. So you can do box squats, which is practicing your height and depth, or depth of your squat rather, by sitting onto an object and standing up like a chair. So that's a good way to gauge basically your stance and your body position for the squat. Like with a push-up, when you're learning to do push-ups at school in Germany, you do them off your knees if you don't have the body strength to keep yourself in a plank. So that's something that I will be explaining in great detail as well. As for the range of motion exercises, I'll always be doing range of motion exercises because, as I said before, we're always sitting at school desks, we're always sitting at desks. I'm learning to drive a truck at the moment, so I'm always sitting in a truck seat. So whatever it is, whatever skill you're trying to learn, or what job, your occupation, student, whatever it is, a lot of the time we're sitting down, and so a lot of the time we get internal shoulder rotations like that. I'll be doing some different range of motion exercises to make sure that you can improve your shoulder rotation as to not be internally rotated and sitting back like that, and follow what I say, not what I do, people. My shoulder flexibility is terrible. Good old Dr. Heathers used to always give me a lot of SHIT for that. So something that I've been working on, but not that much, and something that we can work on together, because good posture is essential. Anyway, this is pretty good. This improved a lot since trying it out yesterday, which is great. So I'll actually leave this video on to see what people are doing. But I encourage all my friends and family and people who come eventually, newcomers, that, as I said, the consistency from forming a good habit is far more important than high intensity exercise that you do once or twice a week. You want to do something 20 to 30 minutes. Consistently, and that's where you'll see gains, and that's where you'll feel an improvement to your health, and that's what I'll be doing for free daily on here because I enjoy it. And whilst living in Queensland, it's good to speak to my friends and family all over the world who drop in every now and then and are usually kind and polite and don't insult my form. So come in, insult my form, I don't care. Come and say g'day. I am doing this as a proof of concept anyway, as I know it works. I've seen it work phenomenally with a few friends of mine, and I've kicked a lot of goals with that, so I'm going to keep at it, at least for a while. and record the videos, so if I don't do it live, there'll always be videos to refer to, but like I said, I like doing it live. So for the time being, I will leave it at that, and I shall review the video and make sure the audio works, and have a great day, and I might see you tonight.